For the longest time, we didn't think this matchup was something that was even possible. But here you go, like a weird dream, this is actually happening. Genetron versus UED. And I'm pleased to report that our UED player is Tom Sawyer. He's a creative player who's on Team Hard, which means he actually knows what he's doing when he plays UED. And you'll notice straight away he's using a current version of the UED. No call downs, he's got to use the Beanie Boys to make his buildings. But since you can call beacons down quite far from your operational headquarters, it's still quite advantageous. It just requires a little bit more micro. The bad news for Tom Sawyer is that his opponent is pretty much a legend at this point. KOP is a Korean Masters player with macro off the charts, and he knows his Scion races. Let's intro our UED player. He is a fictional character created by Mark Twain. He can sucker you into painting a fence because he's Tom Sawyer! Now, both our players have somewhat familiarity with the opposing race. This is not one of these scenarios where one of the players has no clue what they're going up against. That's always fun, but that's not today. KOP's going for a very Terran-esque manufacturer expand. He's got his 400. So let's get that final intro out of the way here. He is 6 random letters that strikes fear into the heart of every player. He is KOPDSD! And that sets the stage, except that I should have mentioned this drama is happening on the map Data C, which is a map we've decided benefits from the night vision goggles. Adjutant, please activate the goggles now. So KOP has a late scout arriving, but Sawyer's already got a pair of strike troopers at the top of his ramp. It looks like KOP's gonna try to force the issue, and he's gonna wind up a first blood. So Sawyer is skipping the GARMs, and even more interesting is he's going for a fuel bureau. That's a building that you use to unlock the political advisor. We've never seen the political advisor actually used before. It's a spellcaster, it's kind of the sci-fi equivalent of a bard. It adds a buff to your infantry. And to be honest, I've never seen anybody with any skill ever try to use it before. Anyway, Sawyer's not making political advisors right now. What he's doing is he's making Lazarus. The last time we did a UED cast, we saw how incredible the Lazarus device is. But this is the new Lazarus. Definitely powered down. The new Lazarus is a bit like a Brood War medic. It still brings units back to life, but only one at a time, and it's auto-cast, so you don't need to micro it. Still really good, but not quite as insane when it gets in the hands of somebody who can really micro. Anyway, the point is we can see that Sawyer's stringing together a pack of diverse infantry. KOP's sending off a processing drone. He's going to try to get to the bottom of what's going on here. For the moment, he's making all-purpose blitzers. That's your basic Genetron tank. It shoots air and ground. Oh yeah, KOP's going to get off the scout here. He's going to see the Lazarus, he's going to see the expansion timing, and he's going to see that his own early expansion is paid off and he has the income lead. That puts the onus on the UED to go out and do some damage. The good news for Sawyer is that's what the UED does very, very well. Oh, you will see those uploaders. That tells me that this replay is not going to be the most current version of Genetron that's out there. Uploaders are out, relay towers are in. We will learn about those another game. KOP's making moles, and Sawyer is indeed pushing out. You can see the Lazarus. Only 4 strike troopers. And the political advisors have much higher foot speed, so they're getting way ahead of the pack here. The advisor's got 3 different effects, each one of which costs 75 energy. The advisor maxes out at 200 energy. Oh, here we go. Oh, little reorg here. Strike troopers are gonna go in first. The mole's not yet burrowed. That red splash is the Onward Comrades ability. It buffs attack speed, attack damage, and movement speed. Oh, the fixers are here. They're gonna do bonus damage against those light strike troopers. But there's another Onward Comrades, and when the dust settles, the UED has cleared out the defenders. KOP with the worker pull. I think he's gonna clean this up, but he's certainly gonna pay for it. Now KOP does have a massive worker lead, so he can certainly afford to lose a few of these ACRs. That is a big time pack attack. And there's that 5-second UED death delay. Well, as good as that was for Sawyer, KOP comes out with the worker lead. Sawyer does get his natural up and running behind all of this. He just needs to get it saturated. That was a neat little commando run that we just saw. stacked with specialty infantry units but light on actual and regular everyday hitters. KOP seems to be sticking with his original composition plan, Mole Fixer. I've seen a couple games before where KOP has just left a swath of destruction on his opponents with fixers. Sometimes he doesn't even research the repair ability. He just uses them for their baseline attack versus light. But he will also use the speed cloak, so watch for that. As things currently stand, the UED does not have any detection. Sawyer also looks to be happy with his composition. He's adding more strike troopers and Lazarus. Genetron halfway to getting a third base down. Of course, with this matchup, we have no basis of normalcy for a sense of comparison. At this phase of the game, is Genetron supposed to be ahead on bases? Or is this KOP being his usual superior self? Anyways, I'm hoping we'll get a chance to see the fixers use their repair ability. Now that I appreciate they actually repair faster than an SCV, it's a lot more interesting to me. Sawyer's got himself an infusion tower. Contrary to what it looks, his units are not burning with disco fever. That is a universal source of healing. It works on units, buildings, anything, you name it. I feel like the infusion tower has become something of a UED must-have. The only thing slightly negative you can say about it is that it's not a detector. Oh, Sawyer's switching up the game plan here. He's adding in Napoleon tanks. I really like that. They seem to do a little bit of everything. They've got your bonus damage against those moles, and then they've got a machine gun for bonus damage against the fixers. Their real weakness, other than the fact that they're expensive, is that they don't shoot up, and that is not a concern right now. The concern is that KOP is looking to pressure. Though given the number of moles he's got, he's probably looking to set up a siege. I love how he's using that processing drone to get that extra vision. The processing drone is going to become even bigger for the Genetron in the most recent version. So many units are going to have their abilities keyed off of energy, and the processing drone is going to be able to feed that energy to so many units. Speed cloak! Oh, the moles are really punching holes in everything here. Napoleons are tough with 220 hit points, but those moles just do so much damage. Sawyer's aspirations of getting a third base up are going to be denied. He does get the cancel, and all of a sudden this fixer-mole combo is really starting to look sexy. You know what? With the current compositions on the field right now, if either player goes air, they're going to get themselves a huge advantage. Of course, they have to survive long enough to do that. I don't know if you could really see it in action there, but the Napoleons are like Phoenix. They're one of those units that can actually move and shoot at the same time. So they can actually shoot while retreating, which is awesome. It just doesn't really help you against burrowed moles. And those moles are becoming a serious problem at this point. KOP's kind of got a critical mass of them. They are obliterating anything that falls into range, and their range is really quite good. Moles are gas intensive. They cost 125 minerals and 100 gas. But KOP's pulling in a lot of gas right now. Sawyer gets some turrets at his natural, and not a minute too soon. But the moles have enough of a range to pull off a siege here. They're pecking away at that infusion tower. I think it's gonna fall. Sawyer's gonna try to save it with a worker pull. Oh, it's gonna be costly, but he's just got no choice. The Napoleons do get on top of the moles. They are gonna get this cleaned up. There are some fixers left, but they can retreat to their turrets. And it looks like Sawyer's gonna live to fight another day. But oh boy, is he behind. Oh, I just love how KOP is using Speed Cloak defensively to try to keep his fixers alive. I don't know, man. I think Sawyer's gonna have to do something very magical to get back into this game. He's trying to start his third, but KOP's almost got 4 bases. The 2 leftover Napoleons try to slip in. Can they get some damage in? No, the moles are gonna drive him out. KOP's winning on upgrades with +1/+1. He's got him doubled on workers and almost triple the income. Sawyer's gonna really double down on those Napoleons. He's making them 4 at a time now. And he's researching heavy weapons targeting adjustment level 1. But hold the phone, he's getting a military research station now. That's how you unlock the final tier of ground units for the UED. That's where you see the Citadel tank and the Peony Monday. I'd love to see either of those in action, but Sawyer's gotta survive to get there first. KOP has taken the time to totally consolidate. He's rebuilt his army, and he's got 4 bases churning away. Sawyer's feeling the pressure. He's gonna push out with another Napoleon strike force. I just don't think he's got the firepower to take on the Genetron directly right now. But that might be the idea here. He's trying to take advantage of the fact that he can shoot and move at the same time. Oh, he's getting intercepted. Somehow KOP saw him and just hunted him right down. And then once that mass mole burrows, Sawyer just has to retreat. I think KOP caught sight of Sawyer using his processing drone. He's been so active with those, flying them all over the place. Sawyer now appreciates his peril. Forget pushing out. He's got to try to survive here. I don't think I've ever seen that many moles together before. They're not so great when your opponent can get up close to them. Can Sawyer clear them out? He's gonna try. No, there's just too much firepower. The Napoleons are gone. And now the Genetron's gonna take a position over the UED third. This is gonna be a very tough rescue, but if he sacks it, he's stuck on 2 bases. There's just no good options for the UED here. Sawyer's gonna pull a frozen and let it go. Oh, but look what he's doing with the time that he's trying to buy. He's making 3 Peony Mondays. We've seen these before, but they never seem to work. Tom Sawyer might be the highest skilled player we've ever seen try to use them before. Perhaps he can succeed where others have failed. The Peony Monday fires a cruise missile. There, the first one's rolling out. Incredible range, 75 damage and an area effect. But it's got to be manually targeted. In theory, if he fires 3 together, he could one-shot a lot of stuff. Genetron once again moving in to take a position on that natural. There's 3 turrets there, the heavy tower, the suppression tower, and the infusion tower. That one still survived. Genetron now controls the territory of both of the third base locations for the UED. Sawyer's adding in hurricanes. Those little ground drones have flamethrowers that do double damage against light. They remind me a bit of Hellions, because you can get a speed upgrade for them. It looks like they're to guard against any attempt of the fixers trying to run in. The turrets provide detection, so the fixers can't just speed cloak their way through. And it looks like KOP is teching up as well. He's adding in the Virtus. That is the Genetron's final tier tank. We've got a bit of an impasse here. Sawyer can't get out of his base. KOP doesn't look like he's too sure how he cracks inside. Sawyer's adding Crimson Eyes. I get it. He's trying to get vision so he can use his long-range Peony Mondays here. KOP's gonna get vision first though with his processing drone. He's gonna be in range of those turrets. Oh, this is getting pretty hairy here. It's just like a tank push. The moles are creeping forward. The eyes are here. Are they the solution? The Peony Mondays have pulled back, and now they fire! Oh, baby, that was huge! In theory, you can actually dodge the Peony Monday blast, but a burrowed mole is not gonna do that. Here comes another shot already! I love how he's overlapping those. A single shot's probably not enough to kill anything. KOP has pulled up stakes, he is leaving. And now the Hurricanes are trying to sneak out. Oh, they got spotted. I think he was looking to try to do like a Hellion run-by type thing. A few are gonna get away, I think. Yep. How is KOP gonna react to the shell shock of the Peony Mondays? It looks like he's continuing to build vertices. Sawyer's got that Crimson Eye floating just outside his ramp to give himself vision. KOP knows those Hurricanes are still out there. He's pulled back some forces. Correction, he's pulling back completely. And that means Sawyer's gonna try to get his third base again. He's got his Peony Mondays up on the cliff to try to guard it. Oh, the Hurricanes just get sniffed out here. Whatever dream of counter-offense Sawyer had, it's just gonna get snuffed out. He is gonna see the Virtus though, so at least he'll know that's coming. Because now that KOP's dealt with the Hurricanes, it looks like he's headed back out to the front. And Sawyer's new third base under construction is gonna be a lot tougher to defend than his natural. And in the meantime, the income is looking so one-sided here. Oh, KOP's processing drone sees all. He knows about the long-distance mining. He is looking to shut it down. Can the Peony Mondays repeat their magic again? Maybe. There's an 8-second cooldown on those Peony Monday precision strikes. Typhoon's guarding the ramp. KOP's gonna try to force it. He thinks he's got enough. Cruise missiles are hitting the ramp. But the Virtuses are just so tanky. They force their way up and they run those Typhoons over. The moles are hunting the Peony Mondays down. They're working in concert with the processing drone for vision. Strike fighters are here, that's what he needs. The strike fighters can clear out the processing drones and they can hit the moles directly. But the UED is taking so much damage. The Virtuses are just camping at his base. KOP is reacting to the strike fighters. He drops a double assembly array, and he's getting a torrent. The natural falls and the Peony Mondays are trying to hold the main. The strike fighters zip out, desperate to try to get a counter-offensive going. Sawyer making strike fighters 5 at a time. He knows he's got a short window to try to make this tech switch work. The strike fighters make it to one of the Genetron expansions. KOP is using his massive cash flow to try to make interdictors and get those air turrets up. The strike fighters are gonna fly around looking for holes. They're gonna zip into the main and see that there's a triple assembly array. Does he have enough firepower to do any damage? Because the vertices have walked into his main base. That main base is mined out. Sawyer's economy is in ruins. He does GG just as the new wave of strike fighters arrives. Very cool game. Gonna have stuff to say about this one. Sawyer hasn't left the game yet for some reason. So the fight continues, but there is no hope for the UED at this point. Where is our victory screen? What's going on here? They don't appear to be chatting. This is kind of weird. There it is. And this is gonna be a victory clip I haven't been able to use in quite some time. Okay, that was a bit of a slaughter, but still really fun to watch. For starters, KOP shows us how deadly mass moles can be when backed by fixers. Moles really are kind of similar to tanks, but without the splash. Once you get enough of them, nobody can get close to you without paying a huge price. It's almost best to think of them as liberators on the ground. Sawyer tried to solve this unique composition puzzle, and I feel like he got it right at the end of the game. The strike fighters were a solid answer. In hindsight, he may have tried to make the Napoleons work a bit too long, but I get it. Sometimes you have to focus on the immediate problem of surviving the next 30 seconds rather than looking ahead. But even with strike fighters, the problem is KOP was going to adapt with a counter composition of his own. He had the production facilities in place to deal with this exactly. His manufacturers could switch to building equalizers, and his fabricators could switch to pumping out torrents. Even still, I think if you're the UED player, you still make the play for strike fighters. First, it takes time for your opponent to make the switch, and you take whatever window you can get, even if it's small. You always want to force your opponent out of the composition they came into the game hoping to play. Second, even if equalizers and torrents trade against strike fighters very efficiently, which they probably do, there's always a chance that as the player with air units, if you maneuver right, you are going to catch your opponent out of position. It's a timeless tale. Ground units get caught taking the long way up ramps, while air units ignore terrain. Now, we did see KOP using his bank to solve this with turrets. He was adding interdictors to protect his bases. Yes, that's going to shut your strike fighters down. But even still, it's a kind of victory. You want to force your opponent to have to stop his assault and invest in defense. Maybe that gives you the time you need to do something critical like expand, upgrade, or tech up even further. But props to Tom Sawyer, as the reason I am going to upload this game is because he is the first player to truly show us what the Peony Monday is capable of. In the right hands, that unit is truly a beast. He was dead until he rolled the Peony Monday out and used Crimson Eyes to get vision over the map for them. The Peony Monday's been undergoing some changes, by the way. Its cost has been reduced to 250 minerals, 150 gas, and 4 supply. It used to be 250 minerals, 250 gas, and 6 supply. That's a pretty big difference. And the cooldown for its cruise missile has been reduced from 11 to 8, also a pretty big deal. Its damage, though, has been reduced from 75 to 50, though it gets plus 25 damage against structures. The key with the Peony Monday, I think, is what Sawyer showed us in this game. You need to overlap the shots so that you're one-shotting units for the kill, not just softening them up as we've seen in other videos. Today, we had the treat of watching a lot of fixers just evaporate. You know, it's such a funny thing. Once again, we see another UED unit that looks overpowered, but once again, the UED takes the loss. And I'm left wondering what to think. I probably shouldn't read too much into things here. Remember, the opponent is KOP. I get the sense that KOP could be playing the Smurfs and he'd crush most people out there. It's a pretty short list of people who can go toe-to-toe with him right now. Anyways, I love that both these races are undergoing fine-tuning right now. By the time you watch this, the Genetron will probably have taken another leap forward. It's a weird but incredibly fun time to be playing and watching Starcraft right now. So let me just say, from my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.